Hi everyone, Madonna here. I hope you're all going to have a fantastic weekend. I wanted to talk to you today about emotional stress release points. It's something that I do all the time, and I do it quite subconsciously with my clients because there's such a simple, easy way to get your brain reorganized for whatever's going on around you. So the emotional stress release points, the way to remember them is they're above your eyes and they're halfway between your eyebrows or your hairline, or wherever your hairline used to be. So basically, it's these little guys here. And going back 20 years ago, I remember being in a class and there was a doctor in the class, and she said, there's no pulse points in here. So doctors, of course, have the medical fraternity has a very specific idea of pulses. We know about them in the neck, we know about them with our, on our wrists, and there's inguinal ones. But basically with the pulsing, it's to do with the fact that anywhere there's acupuncture points in the body, if you hold them for long enough and you're using your fingertips gently, you can eventually feel like a very gentle little pulsing under many, many points in the body. And the emotional stress release points, what they do is bring blood supply to the frontal cortex. So the front part of your brain is where we problem solve. It's where we develop ideas. It's the people who are thinkers and they get out there and they find solutions to things. They've got really good frontal cortex activity. So basically, one of the things when we're under stress, how often does the phone ring? We get a bad bit of news, the hand goes to the forehead, you go, oh my goodness, what's going on? We're automatically doing these things in our daily life and often don't recognize what we're doing, or we don't know why we're doing it, but it helps to bring that blood supply to the frontal cortex. So I just wanted to mention that because you might see my hand on people's foreheads during the kinesiology balances, and especially when I'm running the central meridian at the same time. The two of them tend to go hand in hand for me. But when you are doing any meditation, when you're doing your homework, when you're doing study, anytime you're having a hard time grasping a concept or sorting something out or finding a solution for something, don't forget to just pop your hand on the frontal cortex. So what that does is brings blood to the front of the brain, and that is the area where we problem solve. So it makes everything easier. If you're actually doing a meditation and have your hand on your forehead, and I've got my other hand on my navel, if you do that at the same time as a meditation, it's going to make the meditation so much more powerful. One of the things the brain doesn't know what's real and what's imaginary. And it's one of the issues I have with kids watching movies that are way too young for them, because if they're watching something with horror or real violence and that sort of thing, their brain doesn't know the difference between those visuals that are real in their life and those that aren't. So when you're talking through after a movie that you've watched with the kids, get them to have, as you're discussing, well, it's not real, but their brain has already seen it. So the same, and in relation to meditation, if you meditate on having a good life, on bringing joy into your life, on only being someone who's happy to receive good in your world as well as giving and receiving, you start actually doing these meditations where you really start to work on your own self-worth, self-discipline, self-belief. If your hand is on your forehead, you'll be believing it so much more easily. It's just a easy little thing, stress release points. And if you actually do hold your fingers just gently on your forehead and just close your eyes for a minute, sometimes you will actually feel the pulsing happen on one side before the other. Mine are even today. But sometimes, just say you're in a stressed mood, you might find that the logical points happen before the gestalt, or the gestalt happens before the logic, because the logic's on the left hemisphere of the brain for right-handed people, and the gestalt is on the right side of the brain. Oh, I'm sorry. For most people, logic is on the left, gestalt is on the right. For left-handed people, it can be the opposite if they're true left-handed people. Anyway, just a little thing about emotional stress release points. Have a fabulous weekend. Love you guys.